Milo sat in the quiet seat of his small exploration ship, looking at the endless stars outside the glass window. His ship moved slowly near the edge of a little-known planet, far from the busy trade routes. He had been traveling for weeks, scanning empty space, writing reports, and mapping systems that few humans cared about. It was a lonely job, but Milo liked the peace. He liked the chance to see places no one else had seen before. On the third day in the system, his scanner beeped. At first, he thought it was just another noise from the background static, but then the beeping became stronger and sharper. Milo leaned closer, eyes focused on the screen. The signal was not random. It had a pattern. "This is strange," he whispered to himself. The signal came from the planet below, a rocky world covered in wide plains and tall mountains. His maps listed the planet as empty, but the signal told him otherwise. Someone or something was down there. Milo hesitated. His orders were only to scan and record. He was not supposed to land unless the planet was safe. But curiosity grew inside him. A part of him wanted to know who was sending the signal. Another part of him, a deeper human instinct, felt that maybe someone needed help. Finally, Milo guided his craft down. The ship shook slightly as it passed through thin clouds, then landed softly on a flat stretch near a cluster of strange rock towers. He wore a simple explorer suit, checked his air supply, and stepped outside. The ground was dry, with dust that shimmered faintly under the pale sunlight. At first, the land seemed empty. No animals. No voices. Only the sound of wind brushing across stone. Then, from behind a ridge, movement appeared. A figure stepped out slowly. Milo froze. It was a young woman, but not human. Her skin was smooth with a light teal tone, her eyes large and bright like gems. Her clothes were made from soft, woven material that looked both simple and beautiful. She walked toward him carefully, as if afraid he might vanish like a dream. When she was close enough, she spoke. Her voice was soft but clear, carrying a weight of emotion. "Please, human, save my mother. I'll belong to you forever." Milo blinked. He had expected fear, anger, or silence. But instead, her words were filled with desperation. You can speak my language?" Milo asked, his voice unsteady. The young woman nodded. "Our people learned many old tongues. We did not know if humans were real. But you are here. You are real." Her hands trembled as she held them together. Her eyes, though different from human eyes, carried the same pain. Milo knew well, the pain of someone who feared losing a loved one. "My name is Arya," she said softly. "My mother is ill. None of us can cure her. The others said hope is gone. But I felt something in the wind. It told me to look above the sky. Then I saw your ship come down. You are the answer. You must be." Milo's heart raced. He was no doctor. He was just a traveler, carrying scanners and recorders. He had medicines, yes, but nothing beyond the basics. He opened his mouth to explain, but the way Arya looked at him stopped his words. She believed in him. Completely. He looked around. There were no cities, no technology. Only the wide land and the strange rock towers. Could it be that her people truly lived hidden here, unknown to the galaxy? Arya stepped closer. "I beg you. If you save her, I will be yours. I will give myself to you, for all time." Milo felt his face grow warm. "I don't want anyone to belong to me," he said gently. "But I will see your mother. I will try what I can." Tears filled Arya's eyes. She lowered her head in gratitude. "Thank you, human. Come. I will take you to our home." She turned and began to lead him toward the ridge. Milo followed, his boots crunching softly on the dust. As they walked, he kept looking at her. She moved with grace, yet her shoulders were heavy with worry. The ridge opened into a narrow path, and soon Milo saw the entrance to a cave. Faint lights glowed inside, soft and steady, like stars hidden beneath the earth. Arya glanced back at him, her expression mixed with hope and fear. "Do not be afraid," she said. "My people will not harm you. They will not believe at first, but when they see you with me, they will understand." Milo nodded, though his thoughts swirled. He had expected an empty world. Instead, he had found a secret people, a desperate daughter, and a plea that touched his very heart. As he stepped into the glowing cave behind Arya, he realized that his quiet life of maps and stars had just changed forever. The path through the cave twisted down into the earth, cool and dim. Milo followed Arya carefully, his small light shining on the stone walls. But he soon noticed he did not need his light. The cave itself glowed faintly with patches of soft moss that spread across the rocks. The moss lit the way in a gentle green, like a trail of stars leading deeper inside. Milo's heart beat faster with every step. He had landed on many planets, but never had he seen a place like this. He kept glancing at Arya, wondering about her world, her people, and the strange signal that had drawn him down here. Arya walked quickly, as if she knew time was short. "You must forgive our ways," she said softly. "We live hidden, far from the storms above. The surface air is harsh for us, but underground, we can breathe and grow." "Storms?" Milo asked. She nodded. "The sky above brings sharp winds and lightning. Long ago, our people moved below the ground. Here, we made our homes in the stone." Milo listened carefully. It reminded him of old stories from Earth, when people had hidden in caves for safety. Perhaps, despite being from different worlds, survival had shaped both species in similar ways. The tunnel opened wider, and Milo stopped in amazement. Before him stretched a vast cavern, so large that its ceiling seemed like a night sky. Glowing crystals hung from above, shining like stars, and rivers of light blue water ran between stone bridges. Homes were carved into the walls, round doors glowing faintly from within. The air was filled with soft voices, distant music, and the smell of herbs. This is beautiful," Milo whispered. Arya looked back at him. Her eyes were proud, though filled with sadness. "It is our world. But without my mother, it will not last." They walked across a stone bridge, the sound of water echoing beneath them. Milo noticed faces watching from doorways and balconies. Tall figures, similar to Arya, stood still, staring at him with wide eyes. Some looked curious, others nervous, and a few whispered to each other, as if unsure if he was real. Arya ignored their stares. She walked straight toward a large hall at the center of the cavern. Its entrance was shaped like an arch, carved with patterns of stars and flowing rivers. Two older figures stood outside, their clothes decorated with woven symbols. Their eyes widened when they saw Milo. "Arya," one of them said, his voice deep, "what is this? Who walks beside you?" "This is a human," Arya answered firmly. "He came from the sky. He heard my call." The elders gasped softly. One of them shook his head. "A human? No. They are only old stories. A myth." Milo spoke gently, raising his hands. "I mean no harm. I came because someone needed help." The elders looked at him as if torn between fear and disbelief. Arya's voice cut through their silence. "Please. My mother cannot wait. Let him see her." The elders hesitated, then stepped aside. "If the stranger causes harm, it will be on you, Arya." "I understand," she replied without fear. Inside, the hall was quiet and filled with a soft glow. At the center lay a bed made of woven fibers, and on it rested a woman with pale skin and weak breaths. Her face showed kindness even in her illness, and Milo could see at once that this was Arya's mother. Arya rushed to her side, taking her hand. "Mother, I have brought someone. A human." The woman opened her eyes slowly, blinking as if unsure she was dreaming. Her lips curved faintly into a smile. So, the stories were true. Her voice was weak, barely above a whisper. Milo knelt beside her. "I don't know if I can cure you," he admitted honestly, "but I will try." He checked her pulse, her breathing, and her skin. He was no doctor, but his training as an explorer had included basic health knowledge. He noticed dryness on her lips, a faint mark on her skin, and a strange heaviness in her breathing. Something about it reminded him of water sickness on Earth, when wells became poisoned. He turned to Arya. "Where does your water come from?" Arya pointed to the glowing rivers outside. "The streams run through our caves. We drink from them." Milo's mind worked quickly. Could it be that the water carried something harmful? He remembered his ship carried a purifier, a small device meant for explorers who landed on unsafe worlds. Perhaps it could help here. Arya's eyes searched his face. "Do you know what is wrong?" "Maybe," Milo said carefully. "I need to test your water." Arya's grip on his arm tightened. "Then take what you need. Just save her, please." Milo rose to his feet, determination growing inside him. The cavern people had survived storms and darkness, but they were helpless against something simple to humans. For them, he might be the only hope. As he left the hall with Arya, whispers followed them. The people outside looked at him with awe and doubt. Some bowed their heads, others frowned in mistrust. But Arya's hand held firmly to his sleeve, as if nothing could shake her faith. For Milo, the journey that had begun as another quiet mission had already changed. He was no longer just a traveler among stars. Now, he was someone's hope. Someone's answer. And perhaps, someone's miracle. Milo carried a small water flask from the glowing stream, following Arya through winding stone paths. His thoughts were heavy, but his steps were steady. If the water was the problem, then perhaps he had a chance to help Arya's mother. Still, doubt pressed on him. He was not a doctor, not a hero, just an explorer with some tools and training. Could that really be enough to save a whole world? The cavern city felt alive all around him. Families gathered in doorways to watch him pass, children peeked from behind their parents, and whispers echoed through the stone. Everywhere he looked, curious eyes followed. Milo felt their stares, but he also saw something else: fear. "They don't trust me," Milo murmured. "They don't know you yet," Arya replied, her voice gentle. "But they will. When you help my mother, they will see." Her faith in him was both comforting and heavy. Milo wanted to say, "What if I fail?" But he kept silent. They entered a smaller chamber near the river. Arya lit a crystal lamp, filling the room with a pale glow. Milo set the flask down on a flat stone and pulled a small device from his bag. It was a portable purifier, designed for explorers stranded on planets with unsafe water. He placed it in the flask and waited as the device hummed quietly, drawing out hidden impurities. After a few minutes, the purifier's small screen blinked. Milo studied the symbols, and his heart sank. The water contained high levels of minerals and toxins, things that built up slowly inside the body. Drinking it day after day could cause weakness, dizziness, and sickness, exactly what he had seen in Arya's mother. "So it is the water," he whispered. Arya leaned close. "You found the cause?" "Yes," Milo said, showing her the screen. "Your streams carry poison. Not enough to kill quickly, but enough to make people sick over time. Your mother is only the first. Others will fall ill too." Arya's hand covered her mouth. "No, our people have always trusted the rivers. We thought they gave us life." "They did, once," Milo said softly. "But something deeper in the ground is leaking into them now." I don't know what changed, but the water is no longer safe. Arya's eyes glistened. Then can you clean it? Can you save her? Milo nodded slowly. I can clean small amounts with this device. Enough for your mother, maybe for a few others. But for the whole city, it will take more. Your people will need new ways to live. Arya looked at him with a mix of sorrow and hope. You must show us, then. You are human. You know things we do not. Milo packed up the purifier and returned with her to the hall. The elders stood waiting at the entrance, their expressions sharp. One of them stepped forward. Well, stranger. Do you bring truth, or only more false hope? Milo held the flask of purified water. Your streams are poisoned. They make your people weak. This water, cleaned by my device, can help. But the real answer will take time and change. The elder frowned. Our rivers have flowed for generations. You dare say they are cursed? Milo's voice stayed calm. I dare say they are sick, like your healer. I can prove it. He entered the hall and knelt beside Arya's mother again. Carefully, he lifted her head and let her sip the purified water. The woman's lips trembled, but she swallowed. Arya held her mother's hand tightly, whispering encouragement. Minutes passed. Then, slowly, color returned to the woman's face. Her breathing steadied, her eyes opened wider, and a faint strength returned to her grip. The change was small, but visible. Gasps filled the hall. Arya pressed her forehead against her mother's hand, tears of relief falling. It works, it truly works. The elders exchanged uneasy looks. One of them whispered, perhaps the stories were true after all. Milo stood and faced them. I am no miracle. I am just human. But humans learned long ago how to make water safe. If you trust me, I will teach you. If you do not, more will grow sick. The cavern grew quiet. Every eye was on him. Arya's gaze was the strongest of all, filled with pride and gratitude. She stepped forward and spoke to the people. You see what he has done. No one among us could save her, but this human did. I asked for help, and he came. Do not turn away from the gift he brings. A murmur spread through the crowd. Some nodded, others frowned, but none could deny what they had seen. The elder finally sighed. Very well. We will allow you to try. But understand this, human, if you bring harm, if your knowledge leads us astray, we will not forgive. Milo bowed his head. I ask for no reward. Only the chance to help. As the people slowly left the hall, Arya remained by her mother's side. She looked at Milo, her eyes shining like the glowing crystals above. You gave her back to me, she whispered. I told you I would belong to you forever, and I meant it. But now I think, perhaps my whole people may belong with you too. Milo felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had only just begun, but already, this hidden world was no longer a stranger to him. It was becoming part of his story and he of theirs. The next morning, the cavern city was awake with quiet excitement. Word had spread quickly. Arya's mother had opened her eyes again. Though still weak, her strength was returning, and the people whispered about the human who had brought life back into their healer. Milo stood near the river, checking the purifier device in his hands. The glowing water looked beautiful, but now he knew the danger it carried. He dipped the device again, letting it hum softly as it worked. Arya stood beside him, watching closely, her teal eyes filled with curiosity. You make it look simple, she said. It is simple, Milo answered with a small smile. On Earth, humans learned long ago that water must be cleaned. At first, it was hard for us too. Many became sick, until we understood what was wrong. After that, we built tools to make the water safe. Now, it is part of our life. Arya tilted her head. So your people also suffered once? Milo nodded. Yes. We were not always wise. We learned from mistakes. That is why I know your people can learn too. Arya looked toward the hall where her mother rested. If only the elders will listen. As if called by her words, two elders approached. Their long robes brushed against the stone floor, and their eyes studied Milo carefully. One of them spoke in a firm tone. Human, you say this device of yours cleans the water. But it is only a small thing. What use is it to us if it cannot serve all our people? Milo lifted the flask of purified water. This is only an example. I cannot give each person a purifier. But I can teach you how to build larger ones, using your own materials. The idea is simple, even if the work will take effort. The elders exchanged doubtful looks. And why would you give us this gift? What do you ask in return? Milo shook his head. Nothing. Your daughter asked for help. That is enough reason. The elder frowned. No one gives without reason. There must be something you want. Before Milo could reply, Arya stepped forward. I told him I would belong to him forever if he saved my mother. But he did not ask for it. He helped anyway. He is not like us, he does not think of trade or reward. He thinks only of life. The elders fell silent, surprised by her boldness. Milo looked down, embarrassed, but he did not correct her. He knew Arya spoke from her heart. To show them, he decided to act instead of argue. He carried a small stone bowl, filled it with the river water, and set the purifier inside. The elders and a small group of villagers gathered around, watching. When the device finished, Milo poured the cleaned water into a second bowl. He invited one of the villagers, an older man who had been coughing weakly, to drink. The man sipped carefully, then stood straighter, breathing more easily. His eyes widened. It feels different. Lighter. The crowd murmured in wonder. You see, Milo said gently. This is not magic. It is knowledge. Your water makes you sick, but together we can make it safe. For the first time, the elder's face softened. Perhaps there is truth in what you bring. Later, Milo spent hours explaining simple methods of purification. He drew shapes on stone tablets, showing how sand, charcoal, and cloth could filter water even without machines. The villagers listened closely, some taking notes, others repeating his words so they would not forget. Arya watched with shining eyes. She had never seen her people so eager to learn from a stranger. You share so freely, she whispered to him. You give knowledge as if it is air or light. Milo smiled faintly. Knowledge only has meaning when it is shared. On Earth, many lives were saved because someone chose to teach, not to keep secrets. Now I am only doing the same. By evening, the people gathered in the central cavern. Small bowls of purified water were passed around, each one giving them hope. Children laughed as they tasted it, saying it was sweeter than before. The sound of joy echoed against the stone walls, and for the first time in many days, the city felt alive again. Arya's mother, though still weak, was able to sit upright. She looked at Milo with kind eyes and whispered, You gave us more than water. You gave us a future. Milo bowed his head humbly. I only gave what I could. The rest will be your people's work. As the gathering ended, Arya walked beside him. The glow of crystals above lit her face softly. She spoke in a quiet voice. Do you see what you have done? They look at you not with fear, but with hope. To them, you are more than human. You are a light. Milo chuckled softly. I'm no light. I'm just a man who happened to be here. But Arya shook her head. No. You came because I called. And for that, I will never let go of you. Not now, not ever. Milo's steps slowed. He did not know what to say. He had set out to chart a planet, but instead, he had stepped into the heart of a people who now tied their hope to him. It was a weight he had not asked for, yet one he could not ignore. As the night deepened in the cavern, Milo looked at the glowing streams with new eyes. They were no longer just rivers of light, they were a promise. A promise that knowledge, once shared, could turn despair into life. The days passed quickly in the cavern city. Milo spent his mornings near the streams, showing groups of villagers how to use sand, cloth, and heat to clean water. He shared stories of how humans had once faced sicknesses just like theirs and how they had survived by learning, adapting, and never giving up. The younger villagers listened eagerly, their eyes wide with hope. They practiced the new methods, laughing when they spilled water or when their first filters broke apart. Each small success filled them with excitement. For them, Milo was not only a visitor but a teacher. But not everyone felt the same. Some of the elders gathered in quiet corners, whispering to one another. They frowned as they watched Milo speaking to crowds. Their voices carried suspicion. This human came from nowhere, one said. He claims to bring knowledge, but what if it brings harm instead? Another elder nodded. Already, our young ones follow him more than us. They see him as a leader. If we are not careful, our ways will be lost. Meanwhile, Milo remained unaware of their growing unease. He worked patiently, focusing on Arya's mother, who was slowly recovering. Each day, she gained more strength, and each day, Arya's gratitude toward Milo grew deeper. One evening, after a long day of teaching, Milo sat by the glowing river to rest. Arya joined him, carrying 2 small bowls of clean water. She handed one to him and smiled softly. "You look tired," she said. Milo nodded, sipping the cool water. "Teaching is harder than traveling through stars," he admitted with a small laugh. Arya's smile faded into thoughtfulness. "You must know, not everyone welcomes you. Some of the elders fear you. They think you will change us too much." Milo sighed, gazing at the glowing stream. "I don't want to change your people. I only want to help. But maybe helping always brings change. On Earth, when we learned new things, we also had to let go of old ways. That was not easy either." Arya tilted her head, watching him. "Then what should we do?" Milo smiled gently. "We must be patient. Trust takes time. If the water proves safe, they will see the truth. Until then, I must show respect, even when they doubt me." The next day, Milo's patience was tested. The elders called a gathering in the central hall. The cavern was filled with people, their glowing crystals lighting the chamber like 1,000 stars. The elders stood together at the front, their expressions serious. One of them stepped forward. "People of the cavern, we must speak of this human. He has given us knowledge, yes, but we must ask what is the cost." Murmurs spread through the crowd. Milo stood quietly at Arya's side, waiting. The elder raised his hand. "For generations, we survived with our rivers. We honored them, trusted them. Now this stranger says they are poisoned, that our ways are wrong. Can we so easily throw away the wisdom of our ancestors?" Another elder spoke. "And why does he help us? He asks for nothing, but is that not suspicious? Nothing is given freely. What does he truly want from us?" The crowd grew restless. Some nodded in agreement, while others looked uncertain. Arya stepped forward, her voice strong. "He wants nothing. When I begged him to save my mother, he did not hesitate. He helped even when I offered myself to him. He refused reward. He helped because that is what humans do." The people stirred again, some moved by her words, others still doubtful. Finally, Milo raised his hand for silence. His voice was calm, steady, and clear. "I cannot change your past. Your ancestors gave you strength, and I honor them. But now, the rivers are different. They are sick, and they are making you sick. On Earth, we once faced the same, and we nearly lost everything. Only by learning and adapting did we survive. I give you this knowledge not to take from you, but to keep you alive. The cost is not your freedom. The cost is only effort, the effort to change, so that your children may live. The cavern grew quiet. Even the elders seemed unsure of how to respond. Then, from the back of the hall, a voice rose. It was an older villager who had been ill before drinking the purified water. He stood straighter now, his voice filled with strength. The human speaks true. I feel life again because of him. Do not doubt what your eyes can see. More voices followed, villagers speaking of how their coughs had eased, how their strength had returned after drinking the clean water. One by one, the crowd began to nod, their doubt slowly turning into belief. The elders looked at each other, troubled but unable to ignore the proof. At last, one of them spoke. We will watch. We will allow him to continue. But know this, human, if you mislead us, if harm comes from your ways, it will be on your head. Milo bowed respectfully. That is fair. The gathering ended, and the people dispersed. Arya stayed beside him, relief in her eyes. You spoke with truth. Even the elders cannot deny it. Milo gave a small smile, though his heart felt heavy. He knew trust was still fragile, and any mistake could break it. But he also knew one thing clearly: he could not turn back now. He looked at Arya, who met his gaze with quiet strength. In her eyes, he saw not only hope for her mother but hope for an entire people. And somehow, he felt that hope resting on his shoulders alone. The next morning, Milo awoke to the soft glow of the cavern. The streams reflected faint light onto the walls, and the air smelled of herbs and stone. Arya was already awake, moving carefully toward her mother to help with morning preparations. Milo stretched, feeling the weight of the past days pressing on him. The water had been purified for some, but he could not stop thinking, what if there were bigger problems he had not yet seen? He followed Arya to the edge of the cavern, where the river ran deeper into the tunnels. He knelt by the water, dipping his small device to check again. His eyes widened as the screen blinked warnings. This isn't just surface contamination, Milo whispered to himself. Something deeper is affecting the entire water system. Arya leaned closer, worry in her eyes. What do you mean? Milo stood, brushing dust from his hands. I think the water carries minerals from deep underground. They are slowly poisoning the streams. If we do nothing, everyone will be at risk. Not just your mother. Everyone in the cavern. Arya's eyes widened. All of us. He nodded. Yes. The water we have purified is only temporary. The streams will carry the same minerals again and again. We need a long-term solution. Arya looked at him with quiet determination. Then we must do it. Whatever it takes, we will follow your guidance. Milo smiled faintly. Good. That's the spirit. But this will not be easy. Your people will need to work together, learn new ways, and be patient. And you must help me convince the others that change is necessary. Together, they returned to the hall and gathered the villagers. Milo spoke clearly, explaining what he had discovered. He used simple examples, drawing patterns in the dust with a stick to show how water moved through the tunnels and carried harmful minerals. The streams that feed your homes, he said, come from deep in the earth. Something in the rocks is mixing with the water. If you drink it as it is, it will make you weak. Your mother was the first, but others could fall ill as well. We must change how we get and clean the water, or your entire city will suffer. The villagers whispered nervously. Milo looked at the elders, who stood in the back with serious expressions. Some seemed unsure, but others frowned, resisting the idea. One elder spoke slowly. We have lived here for many generations. How can you say the very rivers that sustained us are now dangerous? Milo knelt and held up a small vial of water from the deeper tunnel. See this? It looks clear, but it carries minerals that slowly harm you. It is invisible to the eye, but it is real. Your people's strength depends on solving this, not ignoring it. Arya stepped forward, her voice firm. You see what he shows us? This is not to frighten us, it is to save us. We cannot stay in the old ways if they will bring illness. Murmurs ran through the crowd. Some nodded in agreement, others frowned, unsure if change was possible. Milo took a deep breath. We can make the water safe, but only if your people work together. We will filter it, build new systems, and find ways to grow food safely. It will take effort, but I can teach you. If we do it now, your city will survive. If we wait, many may fall ill, and the damage could be permanent. The elders hesitated, exchanging quiet words. At last, one of them spoke. Very well, human. We will trust your guidance. But know this, if your plans fail, it will be your responsibility. Milo nodded solemnly. I understand. I will do my best. Over the next days, Milo worked with groups of villagers. They dug channels, arranged filters of stone, sand, and cloth, and learned how to clean water for everyone. Arya stayed close, helping, encouraging, and learning quickly. Her mother's health improved steadily, and the villagers began to trust Milo's instructions more with each passing day. At night, Arya and Milo stood at the cavern's edge, looking out over the glowing city. The rivers shimmered under the faint light, and the city hummed with quiet activity. You see what you have started? Arya whispered. The whole city listens to you now. They begin to believe in your words, your knowledge. Milo shook his head. It is not just me. It is the people themselves. They have the strength, they only need guidance. That is what humans do. We share knowledge, we teach, and we help others find their strength. Arya's eyes glistened. You saved my mother, and now you save my people. How can anyone not see you as a hero? Milo smiled faintly, looking at the river. I am not a hero. I am just human. But humans can do remarkable things when we try. For the first time since he arrived, Milo felt hope swell inside him. The danger of the poisoned streams was real, but so was the possibility of a future. Together with Arya, he would help the city survive, showing the alien people the power of knowledge and the heart of humanity. The cavern city glowed softly under the mineral lights, alive with renewed energy. Milo knew the journey was far from over, but now, for the first time, he felt that he was not alone in it. The cavern city buzzed with activity as Milo and the villagers worked together. Channels had been dug, filters set up, and storage containers arranged to hold purified water for everyone. Children carried small buckets, eager to help, while adults adjusted pipes and checked each filter for strength. Milo moved among them, giving guidance, correcting mistakes gently, and praising efforts when done right. Arya stayed at his side constantly, learning quickly and assisting wherever she could. Her mother, now sitting stronger in the hall, watched them with a faint smile, proud of her daughter and of the stranger who had saved her. Milo examined the last stretch of the water system. The deep river, carrying minerals from underground, flowed steadily into a large filter built by the villagers. The water emerged clean and bright on the other side, ready to drink safely. He held a small vial to show the elders, who had been watching quietly. This, Milo said, is proof that we can control the streams. Your people will no longer fall ill from the rivers. You have built this with your own hands. I only guided you. The elders studied the vial and nodded slowly. One of them finally spoke with a tone of respect. Human, you have done more than we expected. You have not only saved our daughter's mother but shown us the way to save ourselves. Perhaps, we judged too quickly. Milo smiled faintly. It was never my goal to prove anything. I only wanted to help. But the real strength comes from your people. You did this together. You are the ones who made it work. Arya stepped forward, her hand on Milo's arm. Do you see now? You changed our city for the better. You brought hope where there was fear. And you stayed with us, not for reward, but because it was right. The elders exchanged glances, and then, in a rare gesture, they bowed their heads slightly to Milo. We accept your wisdom, one said. We will follow your guidance to keep our water safe. Your presence here will be remembered for generations. Milo felt a warmth in his chest. He had never sought praise, but he knew that trust and respect were far more valuable than any reward. For the first time in days, he felt a quiet sense of peace. As the city celebrated the completion of the water system, Milo took a moment to walk with Arya through the glowing streets. Villagers waved and thanked him, some bringing him small gifts of herbs or woven cloth as tokens of their appreciation. Children ran alongside, laughing, their energy full and healthy again. Arya looked at Milo with bright eyes. You've done everything I dreamed of. My mother is well, the people are safe, and the city thrives. You truly are remarkable. Milo shook his head. I did not do this alone. You and your people worked harder than I ever could. You took knowledge and made it real. That is what matters. Arya smiled, though her hand tightened slightly around his arm. Still. I promised I would belong to you forever if you saved my mother. And I meant it. Not just for me, but for everything you have done. Milo paused, looking into her eyes. Arya. I don't need anyone to belong to me. But I will not deny that your trust means more than anything. I will stay, not because you promised, but because this city, and your people, matter to me too. Arya's smile grew, softer now, filled with relief and happiness. She led him to her mother, who reached out and held Milo's hand. You gave life to me again, she said, her voice steady. And now you have given life to all of us. We will not forget you. Milo knelt beside her, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. I am glad I could help. That is all I ever wanted. Night fell over the cavern city, but the glow from the crystals and the sparkling rivers made it feel alive and safe. Milo and Arya walked to the highest bridge, looking down at the city that now hummed with joy and activity. Families celebrated, children played, and elders spoke quietly, finally at peace with the changes. You see, Arya said softly. Your presence has done more than save my mother. You have saved our future. Milo smiled faintly, taking in the scene. No human can do everything alone, he said. But together, with trust, effort, and care, we can make almost anything possible. Arya leaned close, whispering, then promise me one thing. What is it? Milo asked. Promise you will stay with us, she said, her voice full of hope. Not because I ask it, but because, this world needs you, as much as I do. Milo looked at the glowing streams, the healthy villagers, and Arya's bright eyes. He felt a strong resolve in his chest. I promise, he said. The city shimmered below them, alive with light and hope. Milo had come as a traveler, a simple human exploring the stars. He would stay as a teacher, a helper, and a friend. In saving one life, he had discovered the power of humanity, the ability to heal, to guide, and to inspire. For Arya, her mother, and her people, the human was no longer a stranger. He was part of their world, part of their future. And for Milo, that realization was worth more than any star in the sky. The night passed, calm and peaceful, as the cavern city slept under the glow of its rivers and crystals. Tomorrow, the people would continue their work, stronger and wiser, carrying forward the knowledge and hope that one human had brought to their hidden world. And Milo would be there, teaching, guiding, and standing as a reminder that humans, even from faraway stars, could make a difference.